Greetings. My name is Ayman Tarabishi. I'm a professor at the George Washington University School of Business. I'm the Deputy Chair of the Department of Management, and I also am the Executive Director for the International Council for Small Business. Today's session, Entrepreneurship in Crisis, was put together very promptly because of the global situation we're in. There was an opportunity to be made in the sense of going digital and talking about the entrepreneurship in crisis or the world in crisis and how we can share knowledge and information to all students at George Washington University, to colleagues, to partners, and also to the ICSB family worldwide. Today is March 10, and the world is experiencing a global crisis, or COVID-19, or also known as the coronavirus. But there were also other crises around the world, MERS and so on, and SARS that we've also experienced. This is not new. This is actually a repeat of other global crises. But this has a different effect. This is changing, is stopping the world. Italy is on lockdown. China has taken severe measures to stop the spread. The United States, different cities are experiencing their first cases, and so on and so on and so on. Everything as we know it is changing. And yet, from all this bad news we receive, we have to stop and reflect and organize ourselves to see how to move forward and how to contain this situation. The COVID-19 gives us a clear indication and a clear message that nature can defeat technology anytime. In a simple way, what we can say is nature is 1, technology is 0, because the world has stopped because of nature. And now we need to adjust ourselves and rethink the way we do everything to move forward. So what does that mean? That means we have to take stock on every action that we do, on every plan that we make, on who and how and when we execute our plans. And therefore, this requires some critical thinking. At our university, George Washington University, the administration have taken extreme measures to plan everything, to make sure that everybody is well aligned, that is informed, that is aware of what is happening. Such dispersion of information on a timely basis, on a very open basis, creates a level of calm, a level of tranquility in the midst of this crisis. So that is very reassuring, right? You can see that we are interconnected, understanding very well that everybody has to play a role. Everybody is part of a puzzle, and everybody needs to step up in this puzzle to make it happen. So stating this, what is the role of faculty? What is the role of online education? What is the role of entrepreneurship? What is your role as a learner, as a partner, as a colleague, as a friend in this situation? So this session will go through all these issues, parts of it, and break it down into pieces to follow a script or to follow a plan that we can move forward with. So let me start. Let me start with a simple concept here, is that we collectively together are recreating a new normal. That means whatever we have done in the past, we need to now look and say what worked in the past might not work in the current state and might not work in the future. I tell some of my colleagues here that this crisis is a good training ground for future crises because now we have templates. Now we have a roadmap to move towards. So, step number 1, understand very clearly that whatever you have done in the past does not mean it is the same. We are basically in a new era. The status quo has changed. Once you come to this realization, then you can see the role of entrepreneurship stepping in, looking at this situation with the eyes of opportunity. How can we make things better? How can we make things convenient? What about how we can get things done faster and in a more personalized way? This is what really entrepreneurship is about, is looking at situations from a different lens. Like I'm looking at you at this camera and saying, have you seen it from a different reflection? We hear in the news, we hear across many different partners that everybody is going digital. George Washington University, the other universities from around the world are also planning to potentially go digital or to go online. That is an opportunity that these universities have taken. The instructional core at George Washington University has been up to speed with this massive change, and they're working around the clock to make this transition. It's more all hands on deck. But there's a positive here. That means those individuals that have worked, those professionals, those experts that have worked, know their game, understand what it takes. This is where you smile and you say, we're ready. We have the right expertise in-house. But let's say you don't have the expertise. Let's say you don't have the ability to execute as fast. What you have is the spirit. What you have is the willingness to make things happen. That's what entrepreneurship is about. To take something with limited resources, to bootstrap it into something that is possible, that will work. I have a dear colleague of mine says, we'll make it work. And that's the attitude of entrepreneurship. We will make it work. So across the world, in Italy, in France, in Egypt, in Spain, in Korea, right? That's the attitude. That is the tone, what makes things successful. We'll make it work. So item one is looking at the crisis from the lens of opportunity. Item number two is the can-do attitude, or we'll make it work. Number three is getting everybody on the same page. We have different dialogues, different conversations with people. And therefore, it is very important to understand everybody's coming from a different lens. Everybody's preoccupied with personal matters, with personal challenges. They have parents, they have grandparents, they have family that's causing them issues and concerns and tensions. But to bring everybody together is critical. So item number three is calm, clear, grounded communication. Everybody needs to communicate in a calm manner. Words matter. The tone matters. The sequence of messages matter. And that is what entrepreneurship is about. It is not just havoc. It's a planned process of execution. And for us to make this happen, you have to follow a script. A script is needed to understand where you're going from point A to point B, and to make sure that everybody is on script. No one is behind. Spend time to make sure everybody's on the script. So what is your role? What is your role from all these three aspects? Very simple. You are the conductor. You need to conduct this show, this music. But you don't do it from the front. You do it from the back. You lead from behind. Because in times of crisis, effective leaders lead from behind to make sure they're the last person moving everybody forward. And that's what makes great leaders effective. And you see them in play. You see them in action when they are the last one calling at night, when the first person there in the morning to make sure everything is okay. So leading by example, but more importantly, leading from behind. Saying all of this, now you know these three elements. What do you do next? That's the big question. What would you do next? This is where you say collective thinking comes in. The sharing economy comes all together when you collectively talk about ideas, process these ideas and suggestions, and work through them together. At the end, quality rises, good ideas rises. And from there, collectively, you execute on a planned script. And you're there, in the back, encouraging everyone to move forward. So, saying all of this and talking about all of this, how do we move to an online or digital world? Fundamentally, we are forced into this digital world. It is not something that we are opting into. Now everybody's going digital, teleworking, telemedicine, schools, universities, companies, everybody's going digital. How do we make sense of this digital world? There are a couple of rules or guidelines I like to talk about, guiding principles on going digital. Number one, which is a very complex but very powerful one, going digital means being more humane, being more kind, being more empathetic, being more patient with everybody else than before. Because going digital is complex. Not everybody reacts equally when they're on a digital platform. Some take more time. Some require more explanation. Some need patience to get going with things. So going digital means being more humane. Item number one. Going digital means more social interaction with individuals, which is counterintuitive because you think going digital means less social interactions. On the contrary, going digital requires you to be more social, to ask online, how are you? How are you doing? How was your week? How is everything going? Because that's the way we interconnect with each other as humans. Going digital means understanding people write different things and the tone might be different from what they say and what they write. Therefore, understanding going digital requires you to understand the differences in how people write, the writing style, the intentions. I always say it's always about the intentions of what you are trying to say that makes a big difference. Technology is an enabler. The human core is what creates this enabler to work. Understanding this going digital aspect, which will lead me to something much more powerful, is teaching and learning online. The last piece where we all can connect. You as an educator, when you are teaching online, you have to understand that everybody's watching you for you to share knowledge. It is okay to tell them your opinion and to tell them how you think about things, but explain it in a way where there is a story behind it, so they follow the logic of how you got to that point. When you do so, then they can start to see the rationale of your thinking and how to move forward. As complex as it may be, storytelling is critical for online learning. People connect with stories. People remember stories. Also, how you explain things may require you to approach it from different angles. As a question, as an open discussion, as a blog or people writing things for it, or actually even short videos of yourself with your camera, sharing the idea. Not all the time that you have to be talking on an online platform and educating. Sometimes you let those students, you let those people, the co-workers, lead the discussion and you listen in. You capture these knowledge nuggets and repackage it in a way and ask questions about it. This reflective thinking allows you to understand and decide what makes a good point and what is a point that needs further discussion. I raise this point because I want to show you how far we got to today. The World Bank estimates in the year 2030, we need 600 million new jobs. That's a big number, but it's the same number of 600 million new people that lived on the planet in 1700. The world is moving rapidly. We need new ideas to move us forward in a good, sustainable manner. I hope you enjoyed this session. I thank you all for coming. We'll all be okay. The world will move on, and there's exciting times ahead. Thank you.